Welcome to a podcast by Kayleigh, the gateway to unlocking your unlimited potential. I'm creating an army of 6- and 7-figure makeup artists, and I want you to join me. In this podcast, I'm going to be crushing gatekeeping, opening the doors to the knowledge you need, and deep diving into the topics that can push us to the next level. Be prepared for epic guests and answers to the questions you have always wanted to know. No more small business, no more just a makeup artist. The beauty industry is a $250 billion industry, and you're in it. Let's get ready to open those gates. This is a podcast by Kayleigh. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another solo episode of a podcast by Kayleigh, and happy 2024. Today is another you and me episode, and I'm really excited. I haven't actually filmed a solo episode in a couple of months. So today I thought it would be the perfect time, being the start of the new year, for me to talk about my lessons from 2023 and my goals for 2024. Now, I put out a newsletter at the end of last year, just summarizing 3 of the biggest lessons that I learned from 2023. And I don't often get responses to newsletters, but this one got so many wonderful replies. So thank you if you did reach out and respond to those email newsletters. I do actually, if you hit reply, I do get them. Like, they come straight to my mailbox. So if you ever feel like a newsletter resonates, please do feel free to reach out. I love hearing from you. But the people that did reach out from my 2023 lessons newsletter, they said some of the most lovely things. And I think there is a lot to be said for just talking about some of the things that maybe didn't go so right, or some of the things that you learned, some of the things that were really hard about the year that's just gone by. So I thought I would make it a podcast episode today. For you guys who are not on the newsletter list, all good. We can bring it to you right here on the podcast. So here are 3 lessons that I took away from 2023. Now, obviously, these are very personal to me, but what I would really encourage you guys to do after this episode is really think about 3 of the big things that you took away from your 2023. They might be similar to mine, they might be very different to mine, but I think there is a lot to be learned from our lessons. And the reason I say this is literally I went 10 years just plodding along. I had goals, I had dreams, I had these things that I wanted to do and I wanted to accomplish, but I wasn't actually doing them because I wasn't reflecting or looking back at what wasn't working. And I think this is a really easy pattern. It is really easy for the wheel and the cog to continue turning and us to turn with it. But if you're the sort of person that wants more for yourself, if you're the sort of person who, like me, has dreams that are just so much bigger than us, then we really need to be reflecting on what perhaps didn't go so right, because that's our chance to either break the pattern or change it. So here are some things, and these things, there's not anything wrong with the things that I'm about to say. It's just things that I discovered last year. And it's really important that we look at those, because that can be the catalyst for change that our business or our personal life needs. One big catalyst of change for me was my holiday to Japan that I went on. When you go on holiday, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I go on holiday and remove myself from my business, I can see it with a different lens. I can see it with different eyeballs. And my holiday to Japan, it was quite a long one. It was almost 3 weeks. When I was away, I was able to view my business without being so close to my business. And one of the big things that I realized was, oh my God, Kayleigh, do you need help? Now, if you're in my mentorship or my Level Up Club, or if you're just my friend listening to this, you will know that I love what I do. I love it with every cell in my body. I'm also a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn moon. I'm a Capricorn sun. We are a classic Cap, guys. Being a classic Cap, I love to work. I really do. I love my little routines. But by Kayleigh KMUA, all of the different facets of my business, I was still doing very much myself. And I had a VA, Jack. Jack's my brother. He's still with me. He's still my VA. But obviously, Jack has his own career. He was helping me on the side. And what I really realized is I was burning the candle at both ends. And of course, I loved that, but it wasn't sustainable. And if I wanted more from my business, I needed help. I needed somebody to really, really help me. So this was originally something that I had penned in my head for 2024, like Q3. I have a couple of like big holidays that are coming up, big expenses that are coming up. So I thought, okay, I'm going to employ my first full-time member of staff in Q4, Q3 2024. So it was months and months away. In Japan, I was like, no, Kayleigh, you need that person now. And it was really, really amazing how I'm such a believer in the timing. Trusting the timing of your life, trusting the timing of the universe is huge to me. I have never been let down by the timing of life. I actually went out to lunch with a really good friend of mine, and she owned her own company. She was a director of a company herself. And she was just expressing to me that she was feeling the need for a little bit of a change. So when I came back from Japan, I put on my stories, I'm going to be looking for a business manager. Keep an eye on the website. There's going to be a post going out today. And that friend slid in my DMs and said, I would be very, very interested in having a conversation about this. It's so weird. I really believe in trusting the timing of life. This has always never failed me. And some of my biggest breakdowns, like timing wise in my life, have been my biggest breakthroughs. And when she said that, I thought this means something. I have to have her because she's perfect. It's literally like my brain has been copy and pasted. So very long story short, me and that friend, the lovely Lauren, who has now come on board as a full-time, I'm talking 37.5 hours a week in the By Kayleigh business, and she is perfect for it. She has all of the experience, everything I need. She has all the intel to push this business forward, and I would be silly if I didn't do it. And having had her now for a couple of weeks, I can honestly say it's just been the best decision. But oh my God, it's scary. Like, this is my first time actually financially supporting somebody else who isn't me. It's scary, but the very first feeling that I felt when Lauren reached out was excitement, momentum. You know, you always get the like post-holiday blues. I got them bad. Let me tell you, a holiday, a bucket list holiday to Japan. When you come back to the UK and the culture here is so different. Oof, the holiday blues were bad. And having Lauren just reach out. Lauren was somebody I always wanted. Whenever I looked at her, I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to have her. But she had her own things going on. The second that she reached out, the first feeling wasn't like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? It was, oh my God, I would be stupid if I didn't do this. So that was kind of a big lesson that I learned, was that I needed help, that I needed to give up control of some elements of my business if we are going to go the full, 1 billion yards that I want By Kayleigh to go to. So if you can learn anything from my lesson, if you are feeling the way that I was feeling last year, which was stretched, and I mean every second of my day was taken up with thoughts and having to do things. There was lists upon lists of things that I was having to do myself. I was dropping the ball a lot. There were people that were like, hey, Kayleigh, have you done this? Hey, Kayleigh, have you done that? No, I haven't even thought about doing that yet. That was 100% not sustainable. And it was not what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be the helm of a company that dropped the ball. If you feel like I did, which I can only describe as being so stretched at max capacity, it might be that you need help too. And it is scary, but trust yourself, trust your business, trust the timing as well. You will know when the timing is right. And more than anything, give your business a chance. This gigantic step that I've taken is me giving By Kayleigh, this community, this podcast, my agency, Kayleigh KMUA. It is giving all those businesses a chance to go one step or even 10 steps further. So that was one lesson that I really, really took away from 2023. Okay, lesson number 2. And this one, I feel like when I was writing this, I felt like such a narcissist, and I had to be like, am I a narcissist? Okay, I don't think I'm a narcissist. I feel like I just need this. But one thing that I've really taken away from 2023 is how much I don't prioritize myself. I think as an educator, it's a really easy thing to fall into, is just giving yourself and your energy to everyone else. Everybody comes above me, my students, my community. And even though I have boundaries, obviously last year, really interesting. I actually went back through all my books, and instead of New Year's resolutions, I mean, obviously I have resolutions and I have goals, but I normally assign a word to each year. And I had 2 words for last year. One was focus and one was nurture. And I really did do that. I feel like I really stepped up and nurtured my free community. I created a podcast. I really nurtured the space that I'm so passionate about. But there was one person that I didn't nurture, and that was myself. So my word for 2024, and this might, I don't know if you guys are going to think that I'm an idiot for saying this, but my word is selfish. And I feel like actually, if I look at a lot of my friends and a lot of my peers, I want their words to be selfish as well. Now, don't get me wrong, it has been an incredible 3 years of By Kayleigh, and I wouldn't change those 3 years at all. As I said, I'm trusting the timing, but the timing of this year is telling me that, Kayleigh, you need to focus on yourself and your wellness and your spirituality. And it was actually the Amber Harlow and By Kayleigh masterclass that taught me this, because at that masterclass, I'm going to be really real and I'm going to be really honest. And this is kind of a trigger warning because I'm going to be talking about weight and self-image. And I want to express that this part here only applies to myself. It really does only apply to myself. But I felt like absolute crap. Now, there's a few reasons. I was still very jet lagged. I had been back from Japan for, maybe a week, I think. And I was still incredibly jet lagged, waking up at 3 a.m. every night. That day I had woken up at 2 a.m. When the pictures came back, I looked tired. I looked jet lagged. And some of you guys that know me in real life, you might be like, Kayleigh, you're silly. You don't look unhealthy. But I felt I did. I felt like when I look at pictures of myself now compared to kind of a few years ago where I was really healthy, that my skin looks quite dull. My hair looks very, very dull. My eyes have lost something in them. And it's because everything comes above myself. And that's really hard for me to say. And I feel like a bit emotional saying it out loud because I don't know if I actually have said it out loud, but everything does. I wake up, I have a hot drink, I walk my dog, I talk to my partner, and then I sit down on my laptop or on my computer and I work. And then I get off and I go on a walk with my dog and I eat okay. But some days, I'll skip lunch because I might be on calls, and then I will just shovel anything in that's in the fridge. And it's not a love for myself. It's not a nurture for myself. It's I'm doing what I need to do quickly rather than actually caring for myself, feeding myself fuel that will actually sustain me, making myself mentally feel happier. And to do that, I need this year to be about me and my wellness, because I don't feel confident. I feel unconfident and I feel insecure. And I feel like every single person at that masterclass could probably tell that, because I was. And I feel like the next level of my career, I have dreams of speaking on stage. I have dreams of, being on different platforms. And I can't do that unless my cup is filled and I can walk out on a stage and feel like a bad bitch. And I don't right now. I absolutely don't. I'll always be honest with you guys. I will never, ever, ever gatekeep with you guys. I am a human that is on a journey as much as every single listener. And I would be doing a disservice if I said that I get up every single day and I am the CEO of my dreams, because I'm not. I do amazing work for others, but I don't do amazing work for myself. And that needs to change in 2024. So one thing that I'm doing to flip the scale, to tilt them a little bit more in my favor, is I have started making sure that I do something for myself every single morning before I log on to my computer, whether that is yoga, whether that's stretching, whether that is a face mask, whether that is a shower, simple things that I just was not doing. I mean, I was showering, guys. I was, my hygiene is, I think as a makeup artist, your hygiene is super on point anyway. But some days it would be a sweatpants kind of day every single day. And that doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me feel like a badass. And that's what I want to feel like. In 2024, I want to feel like a badass. It might be me paring back a bit in terms of maybe the output that I put into my business, but that is why I've got Lauren now. And Lauren very, very similarly feels extremely similar feelings because she put her own business ahead of herself for years. And I feel like this is a really easy trap. So if you resonate with this, if you're sitting there nodding because you're in the same cycle that I'm in, let me know, because I feel like nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about like when you run a business or when you're a mother, you look after everyone but yourself because you're filling up everybody else's cup that you don't have anything else to give to your own cup. So this year, my main focus is I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to be looking after myself, my appearance, my health, my wellness, even my spirituality. I'm not doing my meditations anymore or my journaling because I don't have the capacity, and I need to switch that, because for me to really, really serve, for me to be an amazing mother one day, for me to be an amazing leader, for me to really nurture this community, my cup needs to be full first. So 2024 is the year of Selfish Kayleigh. This podcast is brought to you by the Level Up Club, my monthly membership for makeup artists. Imagine a place created with done-for-you monthly resources and coaching, literally everything you need to create and scale a profitable, thriving makeup business. Well, it exists, and it's called the Level Up Club. I am so proud of this membership. I literally poured my heart and soul into it. Inside, you will find monthly Canva templates, monthly stock images, social media calendars, email templates, workflows, pro program lists, agency lists, monthly coaching, and conversations with the people who can help smash gatekeeping. I'm talking agency owners, PRs, top makeup artists and experts. They're all inside. And not only that, but monthly in-person events. We have already held portfolio days, headshot days, branding days, and so much more is coming. The club is taking the mystery out of making money. Your makeup business doesn't have to be make-believe, and I'm showing you how. And guess what? It's only £30 a month. In London, that's literally 2 hot chocolates. I'm not even kidding. So come and join us, the only membership I promise you'll ever need. Now, back to the pod. Lesson number 3 was probably my biggest lesson. I mean, all of these I feel like are really, really big lessons. I feel like I've had one of those years where it's like, it's a huge catalyst of change. And I feel like this year is very similar for me to 2020, where I feel like things are really, really changing. So lesson number 3 is I feel like, no, I'm not even going to start it like that. It's not, I feel like, I know my chapter as an artist is over. And that's really, getting tingly eyes. That's really hard to say. I feel like if you've listened to this podcast, if you've listened to the conversations that I've had, you will know that I've always gone back and forth with this. I'll ask questions to my guests that nudge towards this. I don't know if this is a surprise to you guys. It was actually a surprise to me. I really thought I would always have a toe dipped in artistry, but I can't. My heart is not in it anymore. I loved being an artist. I spent 10 plus years being an artist. Literally 10 years ago, I remember going on my first big job for Cosmo magazine. It's been such a long journey and an amazing one with amazing memories, but I love being an educator more. And I had this struggle, and it wasn't until I actually had a conversation on a podcast where I was being interviewed. She mentioned that she felt she needed to keep, a toe dipped into the bridal and the wedding industry, because otherwise she wouldn't be seen as doing the work. And how can you be an educator if you're not doing the work and showing, oh my God, I have 50 bookings. Look at this, look at that. I'm the proof in the pudding. And I felt those things too. I felt like to be taken seriously as an educator, I needed to be booked as an artist, because how can I mentor others if I'm not also killing it as a commercial artist, booking celebrities, booking bridal? How can I do that? And that was a serious mindset thing. And it wasn't until I had that conversation with her that I thought, oh my God, I cannot be 100 in both. I just can't. I don't have that love in it anymore. even so, this year I was going to take 15 brides on. I'm taking on 5. The ones that I've got, I'm not taking on anymore. I have to let that side go. And it's sad. It's the end of an era. It's the end of a huge chapter of my career. But I feel happy and content. I feel sad, but I feel like excited about that. I feel like it's very telling when you dread work that means something that you have to listen to. That's very telling of where your headspace is at. So this year, other than the odd glam and go, I'm still going to take on my absolute favourite regulars. I'm still going to take on lessons. For me, I will not be going out on jobs anymore, and that does include bridal. And whilst I feel like very sad about that, and I feel like my tone is probably very sad right now, I'm also insanely excited. I'm very excited to get weekends back because, as I said in lesson number 1, I am burning the candle, and that does mean, Saturdays and Sundays. Sometimes I will be at a wedding, and then by Kayleigh, it will be 5 days a week on the other side of things. I'm excited to have a little bit more balance so that I can be more selfish, and I feel like wouldn't be a great leader if I wasn't showing you guys that it's okay to close some chapters, that it's okay to say, I'm not in love with this anymore. Because there is so much pressure, I feel like, from our parents' generation. My mum worked at the same school as long as I've known my mum, 34 years now. She's worked at the same school. And in their generation, it's okay, like that's the done thing to stay in the same one career path. But I don't think that's healthy for humans. We are so multifaceted. We have so many emotions. We have so many needs and we change. I am so different from the Kayleigh 10 years ago as a new makeup artist. And she is so different from the Kayleigh 10 years ago who wanted to be a lawyer. And it's okay for us to evolve as butterflies and change and be different versions of ourselves. That's part of the human experience. If I was to continue doing what I was doing, which is straddling both, I would be doing such a disservice to the clients that book me. And I have a higher price point. I would be doing such a disservice to them. And that's not what I teach. So if you are feeling not in love with what you're doing, I encourage you to really explore that, look at whether it's your boundaries, because for me, implementing boundaries into my bridal business changed it from a hate to a really passionate love. All my boundaries aren't being broken and I'm still not in love with it. For me, that means that I need to close that book. And it's sad, but I have you guys. I have you guys to live vicariously through now. I can really just be an educator and nothing else. And that feels amazing. And I'm so excited about that. Those were my major lessons, and I feel like they were really big ones. Like I said, I feel like 2024 is going to be kind of a 2020 year for me, which is what I mean by that is like a catalyst year where things change and look really, really different. But what goals have I got? What goals has By Kayleigh got for 2024? Now, I don't gatekeep anything. And I really don't believe in things like, keep your goals to yourself and this and that. Honestly, me announcing some of my goals has kept me accountable for those goals. So here are some goals that I have for the By Kayleigh platforms, the By Kayleigh Universe, if you will, for 2024. Now, my main focus is the podcast. It's something that in 2023, I bloody love this podcast. And sitting here right now, I don't earn any money from this podcast apart from the occasional person who joins the Level Up Club. I don't care about that. For me, the joy that I get and the connection that I get from it, I only want to push it further. So in 2024, I really want the podcast to just expand beyond what it already is. I want to get amazing guests on. I want to I don't even know, I'm talking to Lauren about potentially introducing video. I'm not sure. Potentially doing like in-person interviews. I don't really know right now on the 7th of January what it looks like, but a goal of mine is to just blow it up, to be like a regular in the top 100 chart. At the moment, I'm a regular in the top 200. I want to be next to Stephen Bartlett. If I can get next to Diary of a CEO, I think I would just happily retire. If my Capricorn brain would let me. I just want to push it. I want to push this podcast. I want to get my bucket list guests on. One of my bucket list guests is Lisa Eldridge. I am trying, guys. Please don't ask for Pat McGrath. Please don't ask for Charlotte Tilbury. Those two do not do podcast interviews. For me, I would love to get Lisa Eldridge on. Also hung Van Gogh. I absolutely love hung. But yeah, those are my kind of goals for the podcast. Let's talk about money. I would not be a anti-gatekeeping queen if I didn't talk about money. This year, I want to triple my income. That's right, triple. I want double figure months every single month of 2024. And that might be crazy to some of you guys. And to me, it even is a bit ambitious. Like, I won't lie, I'm not hitting double figures every single month. Like, trust me, I feel like people think that I earn way more than I do. Your girl didn't get a mortgage last year, guys. So we're still very humble over here, 100%. But I have big financial goal for By Kayleigh this year. I feel like with Lauren on board, we can really, really hit it. We have double the capacity now. And I really encourage you to get very specific on what you want to earn. Because when I started adding an actual number into the mix, I'm talking, instead of saying, I just want to double my income, I have a number. I have a number that I wrote down for Lauren and said, this is the number that we're going to earn this year. It was very, very specific, that number. I don't want you guys to be thinking, oh, I think, it'd be great to earn this. I want you to get a number that feels specific, measurable, and attainable, but also very realistic. I want it to be kind of the SMAR of SMART goals. Because simply just saying, I'd like to, I'd like to earn 5K more. If you aim for the moon and you miss, you still land amongst the stars, guys. The number that me and Lauren looked at the other day and created a plan towards, we might not hit it, but imagine what we will hit just by aiming for it. And I think we will hit it. We've made it very, very, broken it all down into the different parts. And that's what I want you guys to do. Take the number that supports you, supports your dreams, supports your family. This community, I don't want anybody in this community living paycheck to paycheck. No more small business energy. No more side hustle energy. No more freaking starving artist energy. I want you guys to have expendable income so that you can live an amazing life. People think that money is the root of all evil. I'm here to tell you that is so incorrect. If a man wants to earn 6 figures, it is seen as like a badass cool thing. When a woman wants to, we feel bad about it. I don't want you to feel bad about it, because when women earn whatever their income goal is, they do amazing things with it. They support their families. They take their children and their partners on holiday. They show up for themselves. They donate to charities and to food banks. They create charities and food banks. They support others' dreams. They hire teams. They put money into other people's pockets. If you are listening to this and you're feeling icky about the word rich, no more feeling weird about that word. Because when you earn more money, you are able to do amazing things. You're able to have freedom. You're able to leave that partner that doesn't make you feel great, but might financially sustain you. You're able to leave the family that might not support your dreams and go and live in your own amazing apartment in Manhattan. Money isn't everything, but it can do a lot for you. And having money goals is really important, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So I encourage you to pause the podcast, get your phone out if you're on the go, unless you're driving. We don't do this when we're driving, and I know so many of you are driving. But when you have a free moment, write down a number. Write down a number that enables you to go out to dinner without looking at your bank account. Write down a number that enables you to buy yourself really nice things. I don't want to see numbers where at the end of the month you're penny pinching. That's not a life that I want to promote for you guys. That's scraping by. And in the By Kayleigh energy, we do not scrape by anymore. 2024 is not the year we're scraping by. 2024 is the year where we are putting 10% in our savings, 10% in an emergency fund. That's what we're doing this year. So that was a spiel coming off of one of my goals. But yeah, one of my goals is to triple my income. If you are interested, over in the Level Up Club, I actually do have a podcast exclusive to them every single week. They get their own podcast episode, and it's usually, in fact, most of the time it is just a solo episode. It is just me. But if you are a big fan of this podcast, you might really enjoy that little extra that's part of the Level Up Club. But one great thing about that is I do get really specific on the numbers that I'm wanting to achieve, the numbers that I'm hitting. So if you are a little bit nosy, feel free to go along to the Level Up Club and listen to those podcast episodes, because I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I'm aiming for. The number, the big effing number. Okay, another goal for me this year is I would really, really love to travel for work. This is something that I actually haven't wanted to do in my bridal business. You guys know I'm such a homebody. I rarely leave East London, but I would love to speak on stages. And it's something that terrifies me. Like, if you are my friends listening to this, you know how much of an introvert I am. I'm so non-confrontational as a person, but I can't get out of my head that I want to do this, or at least try this. So if I could be paid to, or even, expenses only, to share my knowledge, my thoughts, my expertise on a stage somewhere, that is something that I'm manifesting for 2024. And it terrifies me. Trust me, if you were at the Amber Harlow masterclass, you will know I wasn't great at that part. It doesn't stop me from wanting to do it again. We only get better with every single experience that we have. Remember the first time you tied your shoelaces, you probably didn't tie them in a perfect little bow. The first speaking experience that I have isn't going to be the best one. I would be silly to not do it again based on my first experience. I would also, as my final goals, love to add a couple more new services, which I'm currently in the works doing. And of course, probably my biggest goal of the year is to get back in touch with my spiritual side and, of course, focus more on my wellness. So that goes without saying, that's probably the biggest goal that comes before all of the others, to do something for myself each day and show up for myself as a real CEO. Because I really don't think that the CEO of my dreams is what I was previously showing up as behind the scenes. Remember, you guys only see the front of house. Behind the scenes, I wasn't showing up for myself. And this year, my biggest goal is to do that. So this particular Sunday that I filmed this, girlie went out for a run. I ran my longest run that I've done so far since before, when I was training for a marathon, which was 2020, guys. But I did do a really good run this morning, and that was before I sat down and squirreled away on work. So I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of you guys. Please let me know, what are your lessons and what are your goals for 2024? I really honestly would love to hear them. What did you take away from 2023 that you are going to change in 2024? What things did you learn in 2023 that have proved pivotal learning moments for 2024? Because I think if I implement all of the things that I took away from 2023, 2024 is going to be massive. I hope that this wasn't too much of a boring, narcissistic listen. I always feel so weird talking about myself. I always feel a little bit uncomfortable. And it's why actually being a host is really, really great, because it enables me to just hear other people's stories. But when it comes to actually filming solo episodes, I'm always a little bit shy about it. But I hope this wasn't too much of an overshare today. Now, I will be filming a couple more solo episodes, but if you do love a solo episode, I would encourage you to go over to the Level Up Club, where you can hear more of a podcast by Kayleigh weekly. Until next week, I have loved being back. Happy New Year, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. You have been listening to a podcast by Kayleigh. Thank you so much for tuning in today and being on this mission with me to self-improvement and taking steps towards financial empowerment. If you liked what you heard today, be sure to follow me on the gram at By Kayleigh Podcast, where I post pretty much daily. I would also love to hear your thoughts, feedback, and energy. So please do leave me a review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you are listening today. In the meantime, I want you to go forward, believe in yourselves, and be the change you want to see. Bye, guys.